Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hamizan bin Anwar from class TPM 5A. So our group will present about the Nemo Dat coordinate habit and exception to the principle. Alright, I will present first about the introduction of the Nemo Dat. So Nemo Dat coordinate habit literally means no one give what he doesn't have. It is equivalent to the civil rule Nemo plus juris et Elium transfer potes quam ipse habit, which translates to one cannot transfer to another more rights than he has. The rule is executed with the transfer of possession of a property in law. The sale of gold at 1930, Herenefer SOGA Soga, and the Indian contract at 1872 are executed with underlying possession of this rule. Okay. Actually, it's also is a jurisprudential aspect to the which relate to ownership and possession. For instance, if owns a car and he has a driver, the driver will only have the possession of the car during the course of business, but he will not have the authority to transfer the title of the car because he only has the title to process the car during work hours. So the title to transfer the ownership is a greater title than he has and could only be performed by the owner because his title is authoritative.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good day to all of my friends, to especially for Madam Nafidah. Thank you for giving us the chance to present our topic about the Nemo Dat rule. Okay. Firstly, before I start explain about the exception to the Nemo Dat rule, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Akmal bin Abdul Hamid, and my matric number is DPM 2019-24523, and also I am from DPM 5A. Okay. Before that, I would like to thank to the previous presenter, my friend. Okay, so I will start share about the exception to the Nemo Dat rule. Okay. Firstly, exception to the Nemo Dat rule. There are exceptions to the Nemo Dat rule. These exceptions was protect the rights of a purchaser who has acquired goods in good faith within the meaning of section 3. That means they are of the Goods Act at 1950 Act, and without knowing of the rights of the original owner. This exception includes where they have two type of the exception. Firstly, they have the sale has occurred under voidable title. Okay, and the second one is the doctrine of estoppel applies. Okay, firstly, I will tell you about the sale has occurred under voidable title. Okay, sale has occurred under a voidable title. This is the situation where a seller has a voidable title that has not been voided at the time the buyer acquires the good. It is under the section 29 of the Goods Act at 1950 Act. This exception enables a buyer to acquire a good title over the goods, provided they were purchased in good faith, and without notice of the seller's defect in title. Okay. And then for this exception to the Nemo Dat rule apply, the buyer must have taken all of the reasonable steps to ensure that there is no question as to the seller's good title of the goods. Okay, they need to prove it. They need to prove that they must take all the reasonable steps without a question that the seller is no good title of the goods. Okay, and I'm sorry. The secondly is the doctrine of estoppel applies. Okay. The situation exists where the owner of the goods has acted in a manner that their own conduct precludes the seller of the goods having authority to sell that which is mean the conduct is in keeping with the matter of Kino. Okay. In the matter of Johnson, Rodriguez J held that in seeking to rely on the estoppel exception to the Nemo Dat rule, the person seeking to displace the Nemo Dat rule has the burden of proving the existence of the estoppel. Okay, for this exception to be found to apply, a party is required to satisfy the court that number one, the true owner on a duty of care to the buyer. Okay, and secondly, the true owner's conduct was negligent. Okay, and the last one, number 3, is the breach of the duty of care had a real cost impact on the buyer being induced into purchasing the goods. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all my friend and my lecturer, Madam Nafida. Okay, first of all, my name is Muhammad Haikal Harzik bin Apendi. I'm from class DPM 5A and my number matrix is DPM 2019244457. Okay, for my part, I want to talk about estoppel. Okay, estoppel is one of the exception in the Nemo Dat. Okay, we look estoppel. Okay, in the context of the rule, this situation exists if the original owner of the good by his act or omission lead the buyer into believing the seller is the owner of the good and the buyer buy the good from him by relying on the same thinking that the seller has the authority to sell. The owner cannot raise objection on the seller authority to sell. Okay, we look point number 2 is in the section 27 of the Solga also legally enforce the same by stating that not one beside the owner has the authority to transfer the title of good except when the owner himself by his conduct fails to deny to the seller's incapability to sell the goods. Okay, we look the next slide. Okay, the next slide talk about example case in the estoppel. Okay, we look. Okay, the case about Eastern Destroy Ltd versus Goldring 1957. Okay, for instance, in the case of Eastern Distributors Ltd versus Goldring 1957, okay, the claimant, a van owner, want to buy a car from a car dealer, but he was unable to pay the amount. Okay, the car dealer and the claimant together made a plan to deceive a finance company. They fell out, from which indicate that the car dealer was the original owner of the van, and the claimant wished to acquire the van on hire purchase. Okay, the car dealer sold the car to the finance company, who gave it out to a customer on hire purchase. The said customer sold the car to another party. The finance company sought ownership of the car when it discovered the fraudulent act. Okay, we look the next slide. Okay, 4 point first at the slide. Okay, it was held that the original owner by signing the agreement, okay, and represent that the car dealer was the owner of the van. Okay, we look at point number 2. In doing so, he was stopped from asserting his ownership of the van. Okay, and point number 3 is the title was transferred to the finance company under the doctrine of estoppel. So the ownership of the van cannot be passed back to the original owner, because the term of a hire purchase prohibit the transfer of ownership until all installments have been paid. Okay, that's all for my part. I want to pass to the next presenter. Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Farid Iskandar from DPM 6A. My normal meeting is DPM 2019-23925. Okay, today I would like to discuss one of the exception to Nemo Dat Could Not Have It. It is sold by a mercantile agent. Okay, mercantile agent is a commercial agent who has authority either to sell goods, to consign goods for the purpose of sale, to buy goods, or to raise money on the security of goods on behalf of his principal. In general, this material agent has the power to sell. Usually, he holds the goods from the owner and is given permission to sell the goods. Okay, for example, like a broker, auctioneer, and by the way, broker is a middleman in business. Okay, next is agent. Okay, by the way, agent. What is agent? Agent is meaning a person acting on behalf of another person or group. Okay. For example, like Nabil Ahmad. Yeah, he is on top in business right now. About of the delicious, his product lah. So how it happened? It happened when someone helping to sell the delicious from Nabil for people. Okay. It's salary equal to commission. How many you sell the delicious, that's your salary. That's your salary from the product. How much is sold increase the salary from the commission. By the way, this is my own example. This is not the related for the case or so on. It just before we go through to the case to make clear about the mercantile agent. Okay, for the other meaning is about the mercantile is a person who a principal authorized to purchase and liquidate asset and to raise fund by using the principal asset as loan collateral. As general rule, when a person take a goods, he or she gets only the same right to the goods as the person from whom he or she took them. Any agent that get business from the customers for any interested principal, it usually costs a percentage of the payment in the form of commission. The agent are protected under the federal law, preventing them from being fired unfairly. Okay, we look at section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay, if a salesman sells goods to which he has no title or right to sell, he may pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. However, the buyer in this situation may bring action again. The buyer for breach of Section 12 recover his purchase price on a total failure of a consideration and claim damage to preserve the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. The law has developed a principle whereby the true owner will be divested of his proprietary right, and the bona fide purchaser for value without the notice will be the protected. Okay, in Section 12 of Sale of Goods Act 1957, okay, he said he will pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. Yeah, it will pass, but it also will have a risk. It can be effect for the buyer especially to breach because it's breach of the Section 12. Okay, in addition, in Section 12, yeah, it will recover his purchase price on a total failure of the consideration and claim damage because to perceive the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. Okay, we look at Section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay, if a salesman sells goods to which he has no title or right to sell, he may pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. However, the buyer in this situation may bring action again. The buyer for breach of Section 12 recover his purchase price on a total failure of a consideration and claim damage to preserve the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. The law has developed a principle whereby the true owner will be divested of his proprietary right, and the bona fide purchaser for value without the notice will be the protected. Okay, in Section 12 of Sale of Goods Act 1957, okay, he said he will pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. Yeah, it will pass, but it also will have a risk. It can be effect for the buyer especially to breach because it's breach of the Section 12. Okay, in addition, in Section 12, yeah, it will recover his purchase price on a total failure of the consideration and claim damage because to perceive the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. Okay, we look at Section 27 of the Sale of Goods Act 1957. Okay, if a salesman sells goods to which he has no title or right to sell, he may pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. However, the buyer in this situation may bring action again. The buyer for breach of Section 12 recover his purchase price on a total failure of a consideration and claim damage to preserve the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. The law has developed a principle whereby the true owner will be divested of his proprietary right, and the bona fide purchaser for value without the notice will be the protected. Okay, in Section 12 of Sale of Goods Act 1957, okay, he said he will pass no title and the buyer prima facie will not receive title. Yeah, it will pass, but it also will have a risk. It can be effect for the buyer especially to breach because it's breach of the section 12. Okay, in addition, in section 12, yeah, it will recover his purchase price on a total failure of the consideration and claim damage because to perceive the integrity of the marketplace and protect the bona fide purchaser. Okay, in the case, this is briefly lah for to more understanding the case. Okay, the chairman of the respondent company board of director enter into an agreement with a contractor. After that, contractor also in a secure CEURED contract with the authority that to carrying out financing of his company project. Okay, respondent company bought the material and sent it to the construction site, but respondent company didn't know contractor had problem with the authority of Petaling Jaya or PJ lah. After that, the contract end or stop lah because of the problem contractor and authority of Petaling Jaya. Okay, in addition, respondent company want his material and the construction site and would sell them because that material was belonging to them. Okay, the respondent company found out that the material delivered to the contractor was no longer in the construction site. Okay, and it due from the contractor because the contractor sold the material to the appellant contractor and sold the material for the 14,000 or 14k, and contractor get half of the payment, maybe something like 7,000. Okay, the respondent company then recurs the cost of material from the appellants. Like appellant argue that the respondent had delivered first the respondent had delivered the material to the contractor, so contractor had to be deserve the name for the owner of the material. Second, the material were the property of the partnership of the respondent and contractor. Therefore, contractor has the right to sell them lah.
It's Kamendra Biamisadi. I'm from class DPM 6A. Today I want to talk about the conclusion of rule of Nemo Dat Rules non habit. The Indian Contract Act 1872 contained 266 sections originally, which was divided into various chapters. 1 to 75 deal with general principle of the contract. Section 76 to 122, 3 of the original enactment deal with the sale of goods. Later in 1930, it was repealed and a new enactment called Sale of Goods Act 1930 was introduced due to the advancement and increase in trade and transaction. It is a piecemeal legislation containing 66 sections divided into 7 chapters. The principles enshrined are basically those that included in the British Sale of Goods Act, which was later amended in 1979. According to Denning, LJ1, in the development of law, 2 principles have striven for mastery. The first is protection of property. No one can give a better title than he himself possesses. The second is the protection of the commercial transaction. The person who takes in good faith and for value without notice should get a good title. Meaning, the first principle is Nemo Dat Rules non habet, the Latin maxim that is no one can give what they do not have. In the context of sale of goods, means no one can transfer a title than he himself has. as already described, Section 27 of the Indian contract and Section 21 of the British sale of goods, both of the section embody the principles. Buyer gets no title when sale is by a person, not the owner. This generally happens in case of finder of lost goods sells the goods, or in case of stolen goods or goods in possession by an agent. It tries to make it appropriate also in the sale of immovable property and in contract of pledge, so the essence of the maxim is only the real owner can pass a real good title to the buyer in sale. That's all from me. Thank you.